You are the master of your fate. Let's begin. Listen carefully because this is where most people fail before they even begin. When you want someone to agree with you, whether it's a client, a colleague, a boss, or a family member, what's your first instinct? Usually it's to persuade. You gather your facts, build your logical arguments, and prepare to present your case. You believe that if your reasons are strong enough, the other person must agree. But I tell you, this is the hidden barrier. Logic alone rarely changes minds, and force never creates genuine agreement. The truth is, people are rarely swayed by your reasons. They are moved by theirs. They filter everything through their own desires, their own fears, their own self-interest. If your proposal doesn't connect with their internal world, your powerful arguments fall on deaf ears. Think about it. Have you ever tried to convince a friend they should do something because it's good for them, only to be met with resistance? Have you presented a flawless business proposal, only for the client to say no, for reasons you couldn't understand? Have you argued a point tirelessly, only to find the other person digging their heels in deeper, simply because they felt unheard or pushed? This isn't because they're stubborn or irrational. It's because you're speaking a different language. You're trying to impose your logic when what's needed is alignment. True influence isn't about winning an argument. It's about finding common ground, building bridges, and making the other person want to agree with you. The common mistakes are profound, focusing only on your needs. You're so preoccupied with what you want that you neglect to consider what they want or what their objections might be. Assuming shared logic, you believe what makes sense to you must make sense to them, ignoring their unique perspective, values, or concerns. Leading with pressure, you apply overt or subtle pressure, which often triggers an automatic defensive response, shutting down their willingness to listen. Talking too much, you spend all your time presenting your case rather than understanding theirs. The greatest leaders I studied, the ones who commanded loyalty and built vast enterprises, understood this. They didn't simply issue commands or win debates through sheer force of will. They had an uncanny ability to bring others into their vision, to make people willingly cooperate and agree. They didn't persuade, they aligned. They understood that the shortest path to agreement is not direct confrontation, but strategic connection. In the coming sections, I will reveal 4 essential rules that will unlock this strategic art of agreement. These rules will shift your approach from trying to push your agenda to expertly guiding others towards a shared outcome that benefits everyone involved. It's time to stop hitting that invisible barrier and learn how to open the door to genuine cooperation. You want agreement. You want cooperation. The first and most foundational rule to achieve this is to understand and apply the principle of mutual benefit. I call this building the Golden Bridge. This rule is simple yet profoundly overlooked. Every person is primarily motivated by their own self-interest. It's not selfishness, it's human nature. People inherently ask, consciously or unconsciously, what's in it for me? How does this benefit my goals? How does this solve my problem or relieve my pain? If your proposal does not clearly, directly, and immediately connect with their perceived self-interest, then your logic, your passion, and your arguments are largely irrelevant. Most people trying to gain agreement make the fatal error of focusing solely on their side of the equation. You should invest in my product because I need to hit my sales target. Their reason. You should help me with this project because I need to finish it by tomorrow. Their reason. You should agree with my opinion because I believe it's right. Their reason. This approach creates a wall. The other person hears your needs, but they don't see how it relates to theirs. The principle of mutual benefit demands that you 1. Identify their needs, desires, or problems. Before you even utter your request or proposal, stop and genuinely consider the other person's perspective. What are their goals? What are their challenges? What do they value? What pain point can you address? Example, if you want a colleague to help on your project, their need might be career advancement, learning a new skill, or simply reducing their own workload in another area. 2. Translate your proposal into their language of benefit. Once you understand their motivators, articulate your request in terms of how it specifically helps them. Build that golden bridge from their interest to your desired outcome. Instead of, you should buy my software because it's innovative. Try, my software will help you cut your operational costs by 15% next quarter, giving your team more budget for innovation and freeing up their time for strategic projects. Focus on their cost savings, their budget, their team's time. 3. Make their benefit clear and compelling. Don't assume they'll connect the dots. Spell out the what's in it for them in a way that is so clear, so appealing, that it resonates directly with their own aspirations or alleviates their pain. Instead of, could you work late to help me finish this report? Try, if we finish this report tonight, it secures our team's bonus next month and also highlights your leadership on this critical project, which I know is important for your upcoming review. Connects to their financial gain and career recognition. People will move mountains for their own reasons. Your job is to show them how your mountain is on their path. This principle is not about manipulation. It's about intelligent cooperation. It's recognizing that genuine, lasting agreement is built on a foundation of shared value. When you genuinely seek to benefit the other person, you unlock their willingness to agree because their cooperation becomes an act of self-interest, perfectly aligned with yours. The golden bridge is always built from their side to yours. You now understand the paramount importance of mutual benefit. But how do you discover what truly motivates the other person? How do you find their needs, desires, and pain points to build that golden bridge? This brings us to the second essential rule, the art of prepared listening. Most people think listening is passive. They wait for their turn to speak. They listen with the intent to reply, not with the intent to understand. They formulate their arguments while the other person is still talking. This is not listening, it's waiting to talk, and it's a critical barrier to agreement. True influence doesn't begin with your words, it begins with your ears. Prepared listening is an active, strategic process. It means you approach a conversation, a negotiation, or any interaction where you seek agreement with a deliberate intention to understand the other person's world before you even fully present your own. Here's how to practice it. 1. Silence your own agenda temporarily. Before you speak, consciously quiet your internal voice that is rehearsing your arguments or anticipating objections. For this period, your sole mission is to absorb. This requires discipline. It's about putting your ego and your immediate desire to be heard on hold. 2. Ask strategic open-ended questions. Don't ask questions that can be answered with a simple yes or no. Ask questions that invite elaboration, explanation, and insight into their perspective. Instead of, do you like this proposal? Try, what are your primary concerns regarding this proposal? Or, what challenges are you hoping to solve with a solution like this? Or, what does success look like to you in this situation? These questions are like keys, unlocking the hidden motivators and potential objections you need to understand. 3. Listen for emotions and unstated needs. People often don't explicitly state their deepest fears or desires. Listen not just to the words, but to the tone, the emphasis, the hesitations. Are they expressing frustration, anxiety, excitement, or pride? These emotional cues are vital signals of their underlying motivations. What are they not saying? What seems important to them that they might be glossing over? 4. Reflect and clarify active listening. After they speak, briefly paraphrase what you've heard to confirm your understanding. This shows you've genuinely listened and helps clarify any misunderstandings. So, if I understand correctly, your biggest priority right now is reducing overhead, even more than increasing market share. This act of reflection builds trust and makes the other person feel heard and valued, making them more receptive to your ideas. The more deeply you understand another person's problem, the more effectively you can position your solution as their answer. I didn't just walk into a room and demand cooperation from men like Andrew Carnegie. I spent countless hours listening, observing, and asking questions to understand their philosophies, their ambitions, and their fears. I became a master at knowing exactly what made them tick. This strategic listening is your compass. It points you directly to the other person's self-interest, allowing you to fine-tune your approach and present your ideas in a way that truly resonates with them. Stop trying to talk your way into agreement. Start listening your way into understanding. That understanding is your most potent weapon of influence. You've identified their needs through strategic listening, and you've found the mutual benefit. Now it's time to present your case. This leads us to the third crucial rule, the power of the definite proposal. Most people, even after understanding the other person, often present their ideas vaguely. They hope the other person will connect the dots, or they fear being too direct. They say things like, I think we should look into improving efficiency. I was wondering if you might be able to help out. Perhaps we could consider a new strategy. This vagueness is a silent killer of agreement. A confused mind always says no, or at best, procrastinates. When your proposal lacks definiteness, you create uncertainty. The other person isn't sure what you truly want or what the exact implications are. Effort on their part. You're forcing them to do the work of interpreting your request, which creates mental friction. Lack of authority. A vague proposal often signals a lack of confidence or clear thinking on your part. The definite proposal is the antidote. It means articulating your request, your solution, or your idea with absolute clarity, precision, and a focus on the specific outcome. 1. State your aim clearly and concisely. No rambling, no hedging. Get straight to the point of what you are proposing or asking for. Instead of, I think we need a new marketing approach sometime soon. Try, I propose we launch a new digital marketing campaign targeting Q3, focusing on social media video ads. 2. Quantify when possible and relevant. Numbers add credibility and reduce ambiguity. Use them to define scale, impact, or cost benefit. Instead of, this will save us money. Try, this will reduce our operational costs by 15% within 6 months. 3. Articulate the specific action or outcome you seek. What exactly do you want the other person to do? Or what specific result do you want to achieve? Instead of, can you help me with this? Try, could you dedicate 2 hours this afternoon to reviewing the financial projections in this report and provide your feedback by 5 p.m.? 4. Connected directly to their mutual benefit. This is where Rule 1 comes back into play. After stating your definite proposal, immediately and concisely reiterate how this specific action or outcome benefits them, based on what you learned in Rule 2. I propose we launch a new digital marketing campaign targeting Q3, focusing on social media video ads. This will expand our market reach by an estimated 20%. Directly supporting the revenue growth target you mentioned is crucial for your department this year. Precision is power. A definite proposal is like a clear target. It's easy to aim at and easy to hit. The great leaders I studied were masters of this. They didn't just have big visions, they articulated specific, actionable plans. They made it easy for others to understand exactly what was required and how it would lead to a desired result for everyone involved. They left no room for ambiguity or misinterpretation. Commanding agreement requires commanding clarity. Be definite, and you will be decisive. You got your definite proposal, backed by mutual benefit and informed by strategic listening. You've done the intellectual work. But now comes the test of your resolve, leading to our fourth and final rule, the force of unwavering persistence with flexibility. Many people apply the first 3 rules brilliantly, only to falter at the final hurdle. They present their case once, and if they don't get an immediate yes, they give up. They mistake initial resistance for permanent rejection. But I tell you, initial resistance is not a no. It's often just a not yet, a not like this, or a tell me more. Genuine, significant agreement is rarely given on the first try. It requires a relentless, almost bulldog-like tenacity. Think of it. If your proposal is truly worth agreeing to, it might challenge existing ideas, require effort, or simply need time to be fully absorbed and processed by the other person. Unwavering persistence means you don't give up on the objective. You are committed to achieving the agreement. You maintain belief in your definite proposal's ultimate value. You return to the table, repeatedly if necessary. However, this is where flexibility becomes crucial. Unwavering persistence is not stubbornness. It is not repeating the exact same argument in the exact same way, expecting a different result. That is insanity. Persistence without flexibility is simply banging your head against a wall. How to apply unwavering persistence with flexibility. 1. Anticipate and address objections. After your initial proposal, actively listen for objections. Rule 2. Don't get defensive. Each objection is merely an unaddressed concern or a need that hasn't been met. Prepare in advance for common objections. Have your answers ready, framed in terms of mutual benefit. 2. Rearticulate and reframe. If your first approach doesn't work, don't abandon the goal. Revisit Rule 1, mutual benefit, and Rule 2, prepared listening. Was your perceived benefit not clear enough for them? Did you miss an unspoken concern? Adjust your language, your examples, or even the minor details of your proposal to better align with their newly discovered needs or address their specific objections. This is the essence of flexibility. 3. Find alternative angles of approach. If one path to agreement is blocked, explore another. Is there a different person to influence, a different time to propose, a different aspect of the problem you can address? Persistence means finding another door, not just pushing harder on the locked one. 4. Maintain your emotional poise. Resistance, frustration, or even outright no's can be disheartening, but the master of agreement maintains emotional control. Reacting with anger or despair shuts down all possibility of future dialogue. Your calm, confident persistence signals your conviction and professionalism. 5. Know when to pause, not quit. Sometimes the best move for persistence is a strategic pause. Give the other person time to consider, to process, or for circumstances to change. Then, return to the conversation. Agreement, especially on significant matters, is often a dance, not a sprint. The persistent, flexible dancer ultimately leads the way. The greatest negotiators, the most effective leaders, understood that their definite aim was non-negotiable, but the path to get there was endlessly adaptable. They kept their eyes on the prize and their minds open to every possible route. Master this final rule, and you will find that very few doors remain permanently closed to your definite purpose. You've now walked through the 4 essential rules for making anyone agree with you. 1. The principle of mutual benefit. Always lead with what's in it for them. 2. The art of prepared listening. Understand their world before presenting yours. 3. The power of definite proposal. Articulate your aim with absolute clarity and precision. 4. The force of unwavering persistence with flexibility. Adapt and return until genuine agreement is achieved. These are not mere theories. They are time-tested principles, observed in every individual who has ever risen to a position of true influence and power. They are the bedrock upon which genuine leadership and lasting success are built. Consider the leaders who have truly moved the world. They didn't achieve their goals by force alone. They understood the psychology of agreement. They didn't just have big ideas. They had the mastery of influence to gather minds, align efforts, and command the willing cooperation of others. Think about the profound impact of mastering these rules in your own life. In your career, you'll negotiate better deals, gain support for your projects, influence promotions, and become an invaluable asset to any organization. In your relationships, you'll resolve conflicts more effectively, foster deeper understanding with loved ones, and build more harmonious connections. In your personal life, you'll gain support for your personal goals, motivate yourself more effectively, and navigate complex social situations with grace. In your pursuit of your definite chief aim, you'll attract the resources, the people, and the opportunities you need, because you know how to articulate a vision that benefits all involved. This is not about manipulation or deception. True influence built on these principles is about genuine alignment, mutual respect, and the creation of shared value. It's about understanding the complex tapestry of human motivation and learning to weave your definite purpose into it, so that others see their own threads connecting to your grand design. When you approach interactions with the genuine intent to find common ground and serve mutual benefit, you don't just gain agreement, you build lasting relationships and trust. The ability to gain willing cooperation is not just a skill, it is the signature of true leadership. It is the hallmark of the individual who understands that the greatest achievements are rarely solitary, but born from the power of unified effort. So I urge you, practice these rules daily. Before every significant conversation, ask, what's in it for them? Listen twice as much as you speak. Be relentlessly clear in your proposals, and persist with unyielding faith in your purpose, coupled with flexible adaptation. Your world will expand as your ability to gain agreement expands. You will find doors opening where they once seemed permanently shut. Master influence, and you will indeed master your world. Remember, your success begins the moment you decide to act.